just kind of see what we're working with here. You guys ready? You ready to see if this big block 383 on this 1970 Dodge Coronet 500 will fire up after, I don't know, I'm sure it's been about 20 something years. I know I'm ready. Burn some tires, have a little fun. My name is Brad, this is Poor Boy's Garage. Here we go. We got some of the wires cleaned up, and we were just kind of, the radiator was hanging. This is an original radiator of the car because the bolts don't line up, but it is a Chrysler radiator, so we just let it be. The AC was kind of hanging down. I put 2 more bolts back into that just so it stays up and is straight. And basically just cleaning up a little bit of the wires. Some of these, there's a couple vacuum lines actually. In one, well, 2 vacuum lines that go to this vacuum canister down here. It's like, it looks like an old Campbell soup can. And let's see, I got one that's, we hooked back up. The other one I hooked up back to the canister, but I don't know where this side goes yet. But what I did buy, and I'm so grateful that this was for sale, but I bought one of these old school manuals, like a dealer manual for this car. I think it's 70 Coronet and Charger. Best $25 I spent. Let me tell you, if you guys got any of these laying around and you want to donate to Poor Boy's Garage, I could really use it. Mopar manuals. I'll tell you what, I don't mind doing the internet, but it seems like when you try to look something up, you get 500 pages of all this other BS that you don't want or need information on, and the information that you do need, you really got to take your time and try to find it, which, you know, 9 times out of 10 you will get what you need, but it takes forever. But not with the Coronet Bible here. You could just look up anything and it's got great pictures and stuff like that. So I love these old manuals. I would definitely love to have them. You guys want to switch out, send me a few. I'll send you a bunch of stickers, and I'll definitely give you a shout out on the next video. Anyway, so we're going to continue on. I'm just going to zip tie a few things up, and pull plugs, and then we'll pull valve covers. I want to see what these valves look like. All the plugs are out. Nothing looks too ordinary. I mean, they look a little bit charred, but you know, we're gonna put new plugs in anyway, so I really don't care. But everything's just, these all look the same all the way around. So she was running, can you see there? Anyway, they're all about the same all the way around. So, I mean, they look good, they just look a little rich. No big deal. One other thing I wanted to tell you, I'm just going to chuck these, we got new auto lights for it anyway, is I like to pull my distributors out on these cars that I haven't haven't ran in a long time. I just like to give them a look-see, you know, make sure everything's good. But not to mention, you want to lube up this engine before, because it hasn't had no oil in it probably, you know, in 20-something years. So I like to prime them first. I never used to do that, and then I got a lot of comments, people saying, you didn't prime your motor or your engine, and I was like, what's it matter? You know, as long as you're turning it over, it's going to get oil. But I can see what you're saying. You know, you want to get everything lubed up first. Then when you hit the starter, you know, it'll get more oil to everything, cam and all that stuff. But I made a tool, and I'll show you that in the later video, where you can prime this engine up. How I like to do it is I will pull the oil sending unit, the little plug that goes to the back of the engine, and I'll just take it out, and then when I see it prime up, and I'll show you this, and the oil starts shooting up, that's how you know your oil pump's working and you're getting oil up to the top end of the engine. Not to mention, I'll pull the valve covers and we'll watch it and stuff like that. Anyway, that's down the road. So let's get this, if it'll come out here. There she goes. Not worried about, she's dirty. I'm not worried about marking it right now, because we're just going to do top dead center all the way around and firing order, all that crap. But if you guys are not comfortable with that, make sure you mark your distributor before you pull it out. Otherwise you'll have this thing all whacked out on the timing, and then you'll be scratching your head. Now this thing, ooh, this thing feels tight. Oh, there it goes. All right, loosened up. About to say, this thing felt tight turning it, but it's good. I know tight is right, but not in this case. Tell you what, headers, I remember having the same problem with my Super B Charger, my 71, that red one you see in the intro. When you put headers on a 383, man, it gets tight against that steering gearbox, let me tell you. Remember the old trick though, put a little hose on the end of the plug and it'll twist up in there. And don't throw no wrenches. So 383 dipstick here was bent in so many different places that the dipstick wouldn't even go in and come out anymore. So probably from somebody was trying to get it around those headers. So we're definitely gonna have to get a new dipstick tube for that. No big deal though. Okay, let's pull this valve cover and let's see what we're working with here. You might as well just go ahead and spend the $15 or whatever and get new valve cover gaskets, because you're never gonna save these. I'm a little nervous, because I already looked down in that cam and I could just tell the oil. It's one of those ones that, just mine from what I'm looking down in the distributor hole, that the oil don't look like it's been changed very often, but who knows? Because I did pull the dipstick and it looked pretty clean, but who knows? This is not a numbers matching car. I'm pretty sure we looked the numbers up on this engine, but I'll do it again for you guys because it's been a long time. I think it's been a while. A little tappity tap. Little tappity tap tap, yeah. She's not bad, but you could just tell it isn't as good as I was hoping for, I'll tell you that. Let's go, financial greatness. Here we go. And looks about the same. All right, I do see it's got the 906 heads on it. Yep. It's got the 906s on it, which I was always told those are good. Let's drop the oil in this bad boy, pull the filter, put some new oil in, and spin this thing around a few times. Oh, nice, full of fuel or water. Can't tell, but it hasn't had a carb on it for, you know, however many years, so I'm sure some water over time got down in there. No big deal. let's just make sure all the valves are, let's just go around a few times like that. Alright, yeah, that's good enough. She's good. Alright. That's her right there, intermediate shaft. This is what goes on the cam, and then down at the bottom turns your oil pump. So what I use, I got a tool that looks just like this. I think I cut one of these actually, welded it to a long rod so I could put it on the end of my drill and I could just spin it and it'll spin all that oil up in there from the water and from the oil pump. Okay, this is the specialty tool I made. It's just a long cut an intermediate shaft and just welded it to a long rod so I can put it on the end of my drill. And then I ever so carefully stick it down here in the pump. I think it's counterclockwise if I remember. When you do this, you'll feel the pump getting a little bit harder to turn. That's that oil going through the gears. Oh, yeah, see it shot out the back. Went a little bit fast there. Back at it, back in the shop, back on the 383. What have we done so far? So let me take you around. It's been about, I don't know, 4 days. I've been kind of just accumulating parts. My buddy Larry's been bringing over parts. And now we're ready to start putting stuff back together. There's some changes that we've done, which is normal. We were just going to do running and driving, you know, and that's what I want to do. But we decided to change out the intake manifold. So I took out the gaskets and that tray just to look down in all the lifters, make sure everything was going good. I want to dump oil down the cam because now that you could see down inside the engine, you know, I might as well go ahead and just kind of give another look-see. But other than that, not too much. Got all the brakes, just got those in. We got the linkage for the kickdown cable. We got the throttle cable. What else have we got? Shifter, a new shifter, so it's period correct, unlike I think somebody had in here like a 71 through 74 B-body shifter. So we got all that, and now it's just kind of assembly time. Once I get the intake manifold, I could just start building around it. But anyway, let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so everybody knows the 383. You see I dug into it a little bit more. Everything down in the cam and the lifters, I dumped a bunch of oil down there, rotated it a few times. Everything looks pretty good. We put a new thermostat in it. I'm kind of glad I did that because when you take these old hoses off, you can see there's a lot of rust buildup sometimes inside these, so it's always good to remove these. I mean, if you're in a bind, even if you're in a bind, you're doing running and driving, go ahead and try to pull your thermostat out anyway and just give it a check. I know it's a pain in the butt. You gotta put a new gasket on it and then you silicone it, but it will help out in the long run because of overheating if that water can't get through that stuff because of blockages and buildup. Now, this radiator is a Chrysler radiator, but it's not the right radiator for this 70, so we decided to put an aluminum in here, I think like a 3-core. And this is one of those things, it's got a lot of buildup in here too. So you start running that kind of stuff through your engine, next thing you know, you'll get blockages and the thing will start running hot on you. Even if you do try to flush it out, you can't get it all. So we're gonna change out the radiator. I got a new alternator for it. I got a new fuel pump. You might as well go ahead and put a new fuel pump in it. Because one, they're cheap, and two, they just less aggravation. So we're gonna do that. And other than that, guys, it's just been, you know, oh, I did do a new brake line in the back because this whole car, remember I was telling you in the beginning of the video, somebody took out the brakes and the proportion valve. They completely just busted out and ripped all the brake lines out from where the proportion valve used to be. I think I got that right here. Like just not even, couldn't even crank them. They just busted lines. So we got a whole new brake assembly that's going in. I did do that line. Now that line was kind of a pain in the you know what, only because when you do lines, it's a lot nicer to do that one on the firewall when the engine's out of it. But of course, you know, that ain't happening right now. So we made it happen, just kind of bend it around and put it back in to where it needed to be. Alright guys, finally, after what, 3 weeks of blood, sweat, tears, working till night, spending lots of money, well, Larry's money, but we are almost there. We're going to fill up the radiator and put some fuel in it, and we're going to see what we're working with here. We did intake manifold, we did 4-barrel carburetor, we did new points, plugs, wires, alternator, radiator, new brakes all the way around, but I haven't bled those yet, so we're working on that still. Let's see, proportioning valve. This is just stuff I'm looking at, guys, real quick. We did an oil change and we primed up the motor first. And new coil. I mean, the list goes on. I think we got about 2,200 just to try to start this thing up. Granted, we did do some speed parts, intake manifolds like $450. You know, your radiator, you're gonna pay like $380 for that. So I mean, that's $800 right off the bat just for speed stuff. We could have used the original radiator. Well, it wasn't the original radiator. It was like original new old radiator. We could have used that, but it's kind of full of a lot of junk, and I didn't feel like messing with it. So my buddy Larry ended up just getting a new radiator, and just 26-inch we're out. Let's put some fuel down her throat, crank her up a few times, and see what she's gonna do. Wish us luck. All right, we ready to wake her up? I'm really curious about this carburetor though. I told you my cousin sent me this carburetor, which was a pumped up 750 that they were gonna use for racing. It's went and got dynoed and all kinds of crazy stuff. We'll see if it don't backfire. Let's hook this bad boy battery up, see if she's getting some fuel. But let me show you, she wants to wake up. Oh yeah. What's that, high beams? Is that the inner light? That's high beams. Oh, I shouldn't have touched it. The high beam switch is stuck to the floor. Gotta grease that up a little bit, I guess. Alright. I'm just jacking around. Alright. I hope she don't need a starter, because then we gotta pull a header off, put a mini starter in there, and I'm not ready for all that. Alright, key's not on. Oh yeah, that starter sounds good. We're good, I think we're good there. let's see if we could get some see what kind of fuel I'm getting, if I'm getting any fuel pressure first. Like I said, I don't have the key on yet, guys, so I just kind of want to crank it up a little bit and just kind of see what we're working with here. I ain't got no fuel pressure at all. I did put enough gas in there, didn't I? Oh yeah, it worked. Why is my gauge not working at all? We got some gasola. Oh yeah. All right, we're gonna turn the key on, see what she got. Let's see if this thing sounds good. Come on, man. Oh, we're already leaking fuel though. I knew that was gonna happen. There you go, we're done. Hope you guys liked that video. We're out. Let me get this fuel line fixed. I knew it was gonna leak. Move a little bit. Yeah, that's perfect. All right. All right, let's try again. See if we got the leaks going. Go ahead, fire her, see if she'll fire. Oh, you got the key on in the on position? I don't think we're getting any fire. There you go. What happened? Click it up one more. Click that key up one more. No, it's back. Go up. There you go, right there. That's why. Alright, yeah. Got one leak left. Have to get one of those. All right, let's try for a 5th time here. Alright, we're moving. But these nasty windows. We're yard driving. See if this thing goes down into 1. I want to really nail car, but I have no brakes, so I can't get too nutty. I don't want to start it on fire because we got a little backfire going on here. Some reverse action. Fire's right up though. I hear its lifter tapping. It's just the exhaust leak. Maybe it'll free itself up, man. It needs to get hot. Every time I womp on it, they just give it a little bit of a little tickle. Backfire right out the carburetor. And I know she's running good. She's probably, I need to put a timing light on her, but she's right about where she needs to be. I advanced her up a little bit. Let it rip out rock, keep on sending, go send to the crusher. We gotta get this thing a little bit tuned up better. Anyway, my name's Brad. We had fun. We might do a part 3, 70 Cornet 500. Yard driving, threw a bunch of dirt all over the place. It's all good. Yeah, we're out.